the op tonight and twice taking care of the rifling duties. Over on Team 1, Mike, I'd say I wanted to say this actually, but Triumph as well. Both teams underperformed both expectations coming into this season. Triumph going 5-3, but we kind of understand that one because
Yeah.
they had the changes. But over on Team 1, 5-3 was a little
And find their mobility, but we know they've still got the potential. We know when you've got names like Mobs, you got CASA, this is a team that can pop off. PRT, like there's a lot of potential here. So we'll have to see what they can do. Player already in towards Hut. That's XNS. Just gonna rock two in lobby, and it seems like they're gonna try and go for a little bit of a mini wrap here. Work their way in towards the A site. That's a huge first kill, taking down Arzu. Now pressure on, they're flooding in towards the site. Player top of Hut's gonna get chased into the door frame, and there's an extra kill from Maluk. He's such a good pistol player, and always has been throughout his career. And wow, this pistol round's just gonna be a wash, John.
Yeah. Well, unless Twice pulls off the clutch of the century, or well, maybe the decade, or maybe the last 5 years. I don't know. Anyway, Twice is gonna get it done. I couldn't decide on that one, Mike.
You started out strong there with Century, then watered it way down, cut it in 10. Went down to Decade. You're like, you know what? Decade's still too strong. Let's go for 5 years.
Well, Team 1's going to take it there. 1-0, Mike. And let's talk a little bit more about the map pick here. It's on Nuke, picked by Team 1, which was a little surprising to both of us, right? Because on Mirage, they've won 4 in a row now, and they've looked very good on it, but decided that Nuke was the pick.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising as well, because Triumph had some decent success on it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this Triumph upset last night, because it really did surprise me. Obviously, I want to give some context to it, which is Party Astronauts, as much as they have huge potential, huge skill, and do really well in the regular season, they have consistently gotten into these weird ruts in the postseason, in the playoffs, where they're trying to actually make that spot into Pro League. They've consistently struggled at that juncture. Still a huge victory for a team that is playing with somebody who's no longer on the squad. We don't know who quite they're practicing with. We don't know how much they've been practicing because it's been a little rough since it's been so slapdash to figure out a roster. Still, they've been incredible. What a peak from Cynic. This is the man who's calling, who stepped up to take over the reins of this roster. He was the newest addition coming into this season. And then look at this. With a found Mac 10, he gets a huge kill down to a 1 point of health. But that's not going to matter if he continues to rip heads. If someone checks him here, he might just be in trouble. He will. He's going to have a huge opportunity. That spam through the hut, even though it does connect. Gives up his angle a little bit. They were overlooking it. Twice finally has this. The bomb did go down, and Twice mid-air cannot reset his aim. Still going to have a pincer on XNS, and if they get through him, Luke is barely an afterthought. They have to deal with XNS. They know he's here. Spam through hut nearly takes one out. Eventually, XNS is going to be zeroing it. What a no-scope! What was that? What on earth was that, Cooper? Cooper's got to go hunting for this kill. And Maluk is wisely not going to give it to him. Rifle found at the very least, but this round's been lost. This round's been lost. The patience from Maluk has been enough. And while Cooper will get the kill, he'll just be able to get the rifle on out of here.
That's still a great job by Triumph to take all the bodies down into that round. And Team 1, well, it's an expensive one for them. There's no question about that. But they still find a way to get that round victory, now up 2-0. And to talk a little bit more about Cynic, you mentioned him in that round, Mike. He has managed to not only take on the IGL duties, but still remain a force to be reckoned with on this roster. Throughout the regular season, 326 frags, plus 71 kill to death differential, a KDR of 1.28, and an ADR of 88.5. And all those stats lead the team as well. Not only that, in the playoffs, Mike, he kicks things off, leading the charge once more with 71 frags and only 45 deaths, plus 26 kill to death differential in the first match as the IGL, and taking care of rifling as well. That's unbelievable to me.
I'm kind of curious about how strictly they're IGLing, how loose they are. I mean, here it seems like they're set up in a pretty decent default, right? You got the player midi, you got the player behind the cooling towers, you got a player deep in the ramp, it's going to be Twice, and then someone playing in Hell Heaven to play off of the remaining two. That's a nice bit of damage. Unable to zero in the kill with the MP9, but now getting close up. The flashbang is beautifully timed. But just as I say that, everybody else gets swept away. It's looking good. Is lurking from outside, shuts down the possibility of escape, and Team 1 actually managed to see this one through. But look at the health. Look at the health, John. Pesa on 2, Mobs on 9. That round was a coin flip from going a different way.
Yeah, that was really quite close, but Team One did manage to get the damage done on time. And XNS, I want to talk about him, Mike. He's got 5 frags already, and I think he's coming into his own with Team One. I do believe he top fragged last night for the squad. I can't find the stats right now, but I'm going to get them later. Regardless, he had his best game of the season and with Team One in general last night.
Arzu will eventually zero in the head. The trade's instant, but hey, that's a fine exchange. If Triumph can again get out of this round with a lot of damage done, they're going to set themselves really nicely down the stretch. Timing is brutal there for Mobs. Oh, the flash comes out and the CZ peaks in. So now they're down in numbers. It's no longer a question of whether they can set themselves up with the damage. It's all falling apart. Why is Maluk out on A alone? With his
Oh
teammates
boy.
not set up to trade him, not set up to do anything. These players are so isolated. Now they're going to work outside together. They gave up a kill on Maluk for no reason. Even if he'd gotten that, he would have been traded, and he would have been able to hold on to the space. I'm not understanding that play. Team 1, now in a really tough spot. There's the spot, not a tag. It doesn't connect just yet. They line up for Pesa.
Oh.
Good damage done, but he's brought it back in the numbers, and that does seem to coax them back in towards A, which might be a bit of a blunder. Oh, it is indeed.
My.
The Deagles get a crossfire. They've got them in the killing zone, and it's all over. Triumph pull off a buy where they were ecoing, just had the deco up. A Mag 7 purchase that didn't even have impact. And now they're in a miraculous position.
This is excellent for Triumph. What a shot for those last 2 players on Triumph, for both of them with that Deagle to get that first round on the board. And now Team 1, I mean, they're still going to have enough to get 3 AKs and 2 Deagles on their side, but Triumph are going to try and ride that round victory to perhaps a couple more here. Arzu, who was their top frag last time they played on Nuke, in fact, last night against Party Astronauts with 33 frags and a 97.6 ADR, is going to look for more of that as the engagements are going to come hot and heavy against him, and he's flashbanged perfectly by Mobs as XNS will finish him off and make it a 5v4. In the meantime, Team 1 have managed to sneak their way in towards the B site. Twice is waiting there with the AUG from ramp, but they've isolated him off, Mike, with this smoke.
Tries for some lucky spams, playing the edges. They're actually going to plant in the smoke. Someone out in the open. Good problem, huh? Cooper's found a kill elsewhere. That might set them up for the retake, but everyone's coming from the same side. They're all bunched in, and that's not going to matter if they just keep killing everybody. Okay, bunched in, positioning or no. Just take the fights, apparently. Team 1 needs to not give them anything at this point and just hope that they can play the clock. Smoke goes in, so PRT wants to make his move. Pesa's peeking around. Actually does get the kill as Cooper missed the initial op shot. PRT alone, they have to get on this bomb. They have to clear him out. A plague twice had the kit.
It's too late.
He's going to win this on time. They just didn't clear this in enough time. Triumph, a massive blunder here. And Team 1 did, in fact, succeed in running out that clock.
That was not good. 4v2 against a Deagle and an AK, and you take that long to go for the retake, and you don't win the round. Ooh, very rough for Triumph, just as the previous round before that was rough for Team 1. So, each team evening things out in terms of the bad rounds up to this point. But that helps Team 1 a lot. They pick up a 4th, and they're going to have 2 AKs, 3 Galils coming into this round. Triumph do still have a couple of rifles saved up from that previous round. That's why their buy-up doesn't look too shabby, as they have 2 M4s, the AK, the MP9, and the op in Cooper's hands. Now, as opposed to last season when they relied heavily on Cooper and his AWP to get things going, he was the top frag with uncontested top frag for the squad. This time, as mentioned, it was Cynic leading the charge, and Cooper kind of went into the, faded into the distance, so to speak, and I guess that's the story as well for his CSGO career.
We'll see.
Not in a bad way. I don't want to be mean about that. I meant more so he's switching to Valorant, not that he's a bad player.
It does seem like that might be the case, or maybe just taking a turn back towards streaming. Like, we'll see what's next for Cooper. It's been a tough situation for this Triumph team in general, right? Obviously, the high-profile departures of a Sheikh Zula, MOTM joined and then left the roster pretty much immediately. I do know that if Triumph was able to secure funding, the plan was to bring RCF into the team as well. That never materialized. This could have been a really dangerous Triumph squad this season. And unfortunately, because of factors completely unrelated to their play, because of the org being unable to secure the funding to sign them to long-term contracts and to commit to them, it just never came to be. In this round, this could be really rough for the Deer team. Positioning does not favor them. It's going to be a huge kill to get for twice, but he's unable to zero it in. And they've got the lower sight. This bomb's going down. There's nothing that they can do about this. They're completely locked out. And again, they're all retaking from the same angle. Everybody's coming ramp. Everybody is coming ramp. Lost the initial duel. Do they want to continue to press in? They do. Kill for Cynic. This crossfire setup should be dangerous, and as we've seen before, all Team 1 has to do is run the clock out. We're already halfway down. There are kits available, but they better get the move on. They're all bunched up here. They're not
It's
getting
the
in
same
towards the site.
mistake.
These doors are still holding them. They're going to lose this to time once more, and meanwhile, Pace is on the flank. Spots one. Now he's got the backs. Now there's really nothing they could do, and the comms aren't there. They don't react fast enough. They're in their own fights. They're locked on in, and there we go. Mob sees it through.
Everyone dies at the end of it, yeah. Same mistake again, Mike. They're so hesitant on that ramp to get into the bomb site, and they just took too long to go for the fights. Then it gave Pace a nice chance to get in on the flank. He finds the frag, and Team 1 pick up a 5th round for themselves. And let's talk a little bit more about Nuke, of course. I wanted to get into the numbers here. On Nuke, so far this year, Triumph played it 28 times, 17 wins, 11 losses, plus 59 round differential there. They're quite good here. And over their last 7 matches here, they've defeated SKDC, Imperial, Oplano, QC Clan, and GGPR, and they've gone 5-2. Over on Team 1, well, they're up and down, Mike. I mean, we talked about it before everything started, but we'll get back to this as PRT is going to drop B-Wells. Now, bomb's already planted. Triumph just letting them get into the bomb site. Twice does connect with Maluk, but Malbs responds immediately, and he senses someone's around that corner. Good sense from Malbs because he takes down Arzu, and XNS finds Cynic, and yeah, it's just over, Mike.
This lower side is just very exploitable right now. Triumph needs to find an answer. Obviously, this round they're going to be able to bring up the guns, but we need to see more of a focus towards defending Secret, towards defending the vent drop, because once these players are in towards lower, they have not had an answer. We haven't seen the contest back towards the stairs by control room. We haven't seen them contest Secret, really. We haven't really seen them make Team 1 fight for that real estate, right? So Team 1's going to keep exploiting it as long as they can. Once again, smokes are coming outside. I expect to see them move out here. And here seems to be the answer. Cooper's getting in Secret. Cooper's got the op in Secret. We might see a change of pitch from Team 1. They have to know that with the guns coming in, Triumph have got to try and shut down their outside control. So instead, they're going to rocket towards A. And this may not be the answer. Cynic's taking them all down. He needs to get the reload off, and now he's pressured on site. He's the only one, but that SMG for PRT will not be enough to win out the fight. And Cynic is stepping away with 4 kills.
Wow.
What a round for the man. It's still a 1v2 for Mobs, and knowing Mobs, this is far from over. Mobs will start to backtrack, creep on through. Ramp is open to him, doesn't know it though, and with Twice still alive, the player who has been traditionally holding ramp for this team, that is very much in doubt. Mobs, I think, spotted the player in towards Many, so has that information to play off of, and actually clearing out. Might just be able to get this plant off. There's the smoke, gonna plant far side of it. The smoke's too deep. Smoke's too deep. Cooper's ahead of it, but Cooper misses. Cooper misses. Oh, that's a blunder. That's unfortunate. There's going to be the flashbang in. He's going to go for the vent drop, and he gets away with it. 40 seconds. Now we'll have the chance to get the bomb down. There's nothing they can really do about this. Again, the positioning not working out. At least this time, Triumph has both sides, so they can pinch in. Twice wants to wait for his teammate to get into the angle, but he also wants to hold this to prevent Mobs from escaping, and that's the right call. Catches him on the right edge. Will be able to get the defuse, and Triumph finally going to be able to see this round through.
Yeah, because of Cynic.
Because of Cynic.
He took care of everything, those 4 frags, and that's what Team 1's been avoiding so far in their T side, is dealing with him. And yeah, as soon as they walked into his crosshairs, that was an unbelievable sequence for him. So Triumph do find their second. They're going to need a lot more of that on our CT side, because Team 1's T side already looks amazing with those 6 rounds on the board. And let's talk about Team 1 on Nuke. 17 games played over the last year, 8 wins, 9 losses, 232 rounds for 250 rounds against, for a minus 18 round differential. But again, you have to keep in mind that some of that competition earlier on in the year was against some very tough teams. They have been pretty up and down on you.
That they have. E-Wells gets caught with his pants down, but doesn't actually take too much damage, all things considered. Cynic's helping keep him clean, and E-Wells is even going to get a kill. Considering how out of sorts he's seen on the initial hit, this is a phenomenal result now. Yeah, they've traded out evenly. And that seems to continue to be the case. Both remaining players are locked out towards Mini. One will start to regress in towards Heaven to give them a bit more options here. I'm honestly surprised we're not seeing the drop back down. Cooper's trying his luck here. Not quite finding it, and a re-smoke picked up. Arzu's got the comms, got the info. If he could actually spot them through the mini-map, Cooper could maybe blind fire it. That's not going to happen, and actually Cooper's going to come to join him. Lots of smoke getting thrown in. Lots of utility getting burned here. Cooper's going to set up the flash, put Arzu over. There he goes. Doesn't get the inroad, gets the shot, though. It all comes down to the 1v1, and Malbs fakes like he's repositioning. He's just been waiting here the whole time. Cooper does have the kit, but Cooper has to get on the bomb, and the clock will help Malbs take the assist for the clutch.
That
12 and 5,
was
man.
a... What's that?
12 and 5. Malbs.
Yeah, Malbs. I mean, he's an awesome player. We've talked about it so many times throughout the regular season. He has been stellar, or was stellar. 339 frags, plus 49 kill to death differential, had an 82.7 ADR, and 25 3-kill plus rounds. That included 22 3Ks, tied for number 3 in Premier, and he's also got an ace to his name. So yeah, Malbs is a stellar player. Really, you're probably going to see it again here. Oh, actually goes down after one. Maluk and PRT along with XNS are going to pick up a frag each, and XNS, the only player in this round to pick up 2. That was very, very quick because Triumph just tried to push out her yard, try their luck on a pistol buy, but nothing happened.
These rounds in general have been incredibly quick. We're almost done with the first half of play here. We're 10 rounds in. It feels like we've been live for like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at this point. Like, this is a very quick brand of CS that Team 1 are playing. They know the positions that they deem weak. They know what's exploitable right now and trying to set up. And they're kind of just applying pressure to those again and again. It's relatively straightforward as well. We've seen the smokes outside, right? We've seen a relatively straightforward A-take. We're not seeing a lot of control towards ramp exerted. They're kind of leaving that alone. We're not seeing a lot of very fancy fights outside. This round might get a little bit more interesting because they're going for a wrap-in towards mini. They found that space. They've taken that space as well. Pressure's going to be on for these players in sight. This is going to get rough. That's a huge clear from Arzu. At least keeps some pressure off his teammates in sight, but not for long. XNS barrels in for 2. Advantage found. Now they're looking for that bomb plant, but Cooper will deny it. Goes into the site as well. Oh, it's going to get weird. And with Pesa in the smoke as well, twice wandering around outside, this could get all kinds of funky. Who's got the first shot? Who's got the first trigger pull? That bomb will have been heard in Hut, but Cooper just doesn't care. He's got his 3rd kill of the round. He's pressing forward for more. Pesa might catch him as he comes out, but you'd imagine Twice will be in for the trade pretty quickly, playing from the second vent there.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I love this. I love this positioning. He's going to get the kill. Make sure that they take it. But I love that awareness. It won't pay out for him, but the movement was perfect to stay out of that op crosshair and know what Cooper's timings would be.
Oh, man, that was impressive from Pesa. Honestly, I love the idea for sure. I almost would have waited a little bit longer. I know time was obviously getting against him, but still, like, maybe try and spot out Twice or get some information of some kind, but still an incredible play by Pesa. Too bad it didn't materialize into anything more than a frag, as Triumph do pick up their 3rd round victory, and a pause going to be called here. One thing I want to mention, Mike, is that as we talked about earlier, we were surprised Team 1 didn't pick into Mirage, and the only way they don't do that, in my opinion, is if they saw something that Triumph did on Nuke that they felt like they could exploit when they played them last night against Party Astronauts, which they lost that one.
I also think part of it is that Team 1's looking at the potential map picks, and they're going, all right, one of the things that we're going to have as an advantage over Triumph is preparation, right? Cooper's not playing with the squad full-time now. We don't know what their prac schedule's like. So a map like Nuke can really expose teams that haven't necessarily been able to spend the time on things like rotations. Again, I don't really know what the situation is for Triumph. I just know there's enough question marks that if I'm Team 1, that's kind of my thought process. What a clear for Pesa. It doesn't work. All right. Twice gets the shot back. That looked like it was a brilliant entry, but he was alone. We've seen this a few times for Team 1, where they take some pretty isolated fights to try and make individual plays, try and take individual duels, and the thing is, if it doesn't work out, well, there's nothing you really do with it. Pressure's going to be on for Cynic. Malbs is there for the trade, but instantly eliminated. And this is looking like a very good hold for Triumph. Health's a bit questionable, but just XNS with the Eagle. It's not going to be a problem.
Nicely done for Triumph.
Team Ace.
Exactly. Team Ace coming through, and they pick up a 4th round themselves. I do believe it's 3 maps in a row now. 3 rounds in a row for Triumph. That can't even happen unless you're in a BO5.
There.
Either way, Team 1 still have already taken this half on their T side, which is impressive in and of itself. That said, this round does not look too pretty. They've got to go with 3 Glocks, 2 P250s, and a couple of flashes. That's it. That's all, folks. And Arzu's going to spot out Malbs trying to get off that Malo and take him down in midair. You have to imagine that Triumph should be able to close this one out pretty cleanly. Arzu should get a crack at 4 frags, in fact. Does go down after finding 3. And Twice will be able to finish the job. Actually, excuse me, Cynic will be able to finish the job over on Pesa as Triumph pick up a 4th in a row.
Yeah, one of those guys. This is really nice to see as well for the Triumph scoreline. Obviously, they're still back 3 rounds, which isn't ideal for their CT side. But we're seeing a pretty even contribution from 3 very important players here. Cynic is hitting 12 and 11. Arzu's up to 11. Twice is up to 11 as well. Those are 3 players that they will need to go at the half switch to give them a fighting chance here. For Team 1, right? You've already secured 8 rounds on your T side. It's fine. You'd like to get a bit more, considering how one-sided and affair this 1-1 fight was with 8-2. So,
Yeah.
you'd like to put 1 more on the board here. 2 rounds to try it. This will be their best shot. Since they've got the AKs, they've got everything they could possibly want, and it seems like they might come back to that pressure on lower. Take outside, move on in. No, they're going to fight in the big garage. What's going to happen here? There's a player in secret. It's Cooper. And he's ready for him. 2 kills found. They're not clearing him effectively. Nearly gets the 3rd. XNS finally brings that through. But that's far from how they wanted this one to play out. Bomb's been dropped. This round's just about over. Team 1 completely caught out of position. And Pesa will try and go down the ladder just to make things up on the duel. Luke does catch a kill. And that might distract enough for Pesa to get around. Because the thing is, they saw 1 player at Squeaky. They didn't see the 2nd player. So now they're very zeroed in against Luke. Secret Agent Pesa. 1v3 can get the bomb. Where does he want to go with it? He wants the kills. He doesn't want the bomb just yet. They're right by the blue boxes, B-Wills. That would be his duel if he takes a fight outside, or if he gets a fight outside, rather. He's going to work his way down in towards Secret. I think B-Wills caught a wisp of him before he went down, but a player has gone down the vents, and that'll be Cynic.
Nice.
Make sure a bomb plant doesn't come through, and Team 1 don't even get the capital to properly fight into this next round.
This is a great adjustment from Triumph because, like we said, Team 1 was really abusing Secret in that B site early on in this half. And then once they sent Cooper there, I mean, Team 1 hasn't been there once. They didn't even go in that direction. When Cooper started to post up at Secret, they went towards A, and Cynic took care of them with the 4K. But since they have tried it, you know, Cooper's been there to answer the call. He had a couple with the AWP previously, this time with the M4, getting 2 on the board and really stopping Team 1 in their tracks. But again, you're going to see a bit of a challenge toward the outside here. Team 1 forcing up whatever they can get, and it's honestly not much. 2 Deagles, a CZ, a MAC-10, and a Galil over on Triumph. They're locked and loaded, everything they could need, and Cooper goes down to PRT immediately. That's CZ coming through, and then PRT picks up the op to find Cynic, then flicks around to get Arzu. Are you kidding me? B-Wills will respond with 2 and twice gets PRT. What is this round? Maluk is the last one standing after that stellar display by PRT Mike, and then he will go down to twice. What?
There we go. There's the half. Triumph bringing it back here. A little head scratching around there at the end, but hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. It's going to lead to a competitive game here in the second half. Obviously, still advantage Team 1 is a very nice thing to walk out of your T side on Nuke, but really disappointing that they dropped, what, 5 rounds in a row here?
Yeah.
Very concerning for the Brazilian squad. They were so dominant, but it was relatively simple, the that they're running, and it feels like Triumph just kind of figured it out.
Yeah, but what a play. I mean, PRT comes out with a fabulous play. I mean, gets through with the CZ and finds 2 incredible shots with the op. How do you lose that round? I mean, good job by twice. You got to give him credit. But, okay, well, Triumph, they make it as close as possible here at 8-7. And, looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit, Mike, before we get started here with the second half.
Hopefully just a moment. Hopefully just a moment, and we'll be back into the fun. It does seem like that's going to be the case. We've already got the half 2 started message in our chat log, so it shouldn't be long here, John.
Yep.
My question is, what is Triumph going to be running on this T side? Because honestly, they've got a pretty prime opportunity. Team 1 came into this with a very distinct game plan, and when it didn't work, they kind of kept running it. So, if they've got that maybe slightly more one-dimensional defense as well, there might be ways for Triumph to exploit it, even if they're running strats a bit looser. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do. It obviously all starts here. Team 1 did pick up the pistol in the first half, which makes this scoreline even less impressive for them. It's funny, I keep going back to this. It's just the momentum is so out of their favor, John, despite the fact that they technically came out of that the victor that first half.
Yeah.
Cooper's going to go aggressive on towards Mini already. They're just going fast for this. Maluk needs to be ready. He hears them, and there he is ready. Takes the one, not the second, though. And considering how dangerous Maluk frequently is on the pistol rounds, that is not the worst result for Triumph. Now they've got a player wrapping around in towards Hell. Twice looking to pressure, and they're going to pinch ramp. That's what they're going to do. They're going to pinch ramp. They push the player down towards lower. Here comes the maneuver. RSU holding this, and he gets exactly what he was waiting for. Exactly what he's waiting for. Now he has heaven. Shots not lining up for PRT, but that last one's a beaut. Looking for more, needs more, and he has done so much damage. PRT just saved their bacon in this round, I think. Bomb's still going to go down. Triumph gets the money at the very least, but let's see what Twice can pull off in the clutch. Two players coming in. They're coming from the same angle, and they've got it with the USPs. Defuse will be swift. Pistol round will be merciless. And PRT, that last USP shot, I think, is the difference between victory and defeat here in this pistol round.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent job by PRT to secure that bomb site, or help his team secure that bomb site and get this defusal. And of course, XNS coming out with a 2K for himself here. He's sitting at the top of the scoreboard again with 15 frags. And I did mention he had his best map with Team 1 so far in terms of frags, and that was on Nuke against Chococheck last night. He had 28 frags, 18 deaths, plus 10 kill to death differential, and an ADR of 92.9. And overall, across both maps, was also at the top with 47 frags and 36 deaths. Now, when XNS was part of Santos Esports, he was a far more consistent player, above a rating of 1. You know, most of the time you can kind of count on him for that. But since he joined Team 1, he really has struggled. So it's good to see him find his own here.
Looks like Triumph for anticipating a lobby crunch. Holding for it. And there's a little bit of a poke in from the hut. B-Wills gets away from it. They even get damage onto PRT, spamming through the wall. So this is a nice result for Triumph. Nice little start here. Their patience was rewarded. They expected the aggression to come in from Team 1, and well, Team 1 gave it to them.
Yeah.
Minute on the clock, and Triumph definitely haven't tipped their hand. They still do have 2 smokes, so could fall back into an outside take if they wanted to. Doesn't seem like they want to. Smoke for Mini. They're going to come in towards A. 3 players bunched up in towards the hut. Flashbang comes out the door out somewhere, and on they go. Eventually. That might put a dampener on it, especially with the Molotov to follow it. Now this gets a little bit awkward. You don't have a second plan. 25 seconds. The bomb's gone down. They're running out of clock here. They're running out of clock. They're running out of bodies. Oh, Arzu nearly gets away with that one. But no, PRT will pattern recognize in time. It's all on to Cynic, and Cynic's going to peek back in for his death as he did not want to get stuck in a save there. Triumph played out the clock a little bit too far, and Team 1, they held on to it just enough utility to absolutely stump them on the eventual take.
Yeah, I don't like that for Triumph. They just waited around way too long. Like you said, they could have rotated or go towards the outside yard. They could have gone to B. Could have done a lot of things during that time, but they just stood their ground as Team 1 waited to greet them. And as you mentioned, had the right amount of utility to shut the door as they attempted to come right on in. So Triumph are now going to be relegated down towards pistols. It's going to be 4 Deagles and a Tech 9. Over on Team 1, they're sitting on 3 M4s, the Galil and the AUG, as Maluk is looking for some targets. He spotted one, he gets it, and the second one too. Arzu and Twice both down. Could find himself a 3K here, but Cooper is going to connect with a heck of a Deagle shot over on Maluk. So 3v4. Triumph still have some manpower here, but they have PRT to worry about over in Mustang. Well, that's a heck of a shot from B-Wills, Mike, but PRT is going to take him out.
There's still a player Mustang, and Cynic wants to see if he can't catch him before he escapes. The answer is he can. Now, that's very nicely done. Obviously, this is now very much in doubt. 2-on-2. Player in towards lower as well in the form of Cooper, and Cooper has the bomb. So Cynic is making the distractions, trying to get in towards Vent. The Vent drop's not going to happen. Pace is seeing him check Vent. Does he get the Q off? Now he certainly does. But bomb's gone down. This round's already largely successful, and the damage is very effective. They won't be able to win it. But 3 players killed and a bomb planted, considering what was brought into the round, this is not bad for Triumph.
Especially that B-Will's entry. Oh, boy. That was a dirty shot. But, yeah, 3 players down, as you mentioned. Bomb plant coming through as well. Team 1 still, they're up to 11. They kind of took care of the momentum that Triumph brought into this half from the first. So that's good news for them. But Triumph are not going to be buying up into this one. They got the op in the hands of Cooper. He's always dangerous with that. And it's going to be 4 AKs right around him to help him forward. Over on Team 1, it's probably going to be 4 M4s, I imagine here. Oh, no, actually, maybe some MP9s will come in. 1 MP9, an AUG, 2 M4A4s, and the op here, as Triumph are going to set up a wall of smokes more than likely towards this outside yard. They already got a little bit of utility being exchanged with Team 1.
Oh, there goes the peak. Nuke strikes first. They lined up for him. It's exactly the play he was hoping for outside. And he's getting back right off. Doesn't want the repeak. Doesn't want the repeak at all. They were holding for it, but he's gone all the way back towards spawn. A lot of patience, a lot of control being shown, and a huge kill for Mobs because that was their backup plan, right? They're trying to pinch in towards the lower site, get one player to lurk out towards ramp. Bulk of the presence goes down secret. And now at this point, they're stumped. They've lost the initial exchange. They've been spotted outside here. They've lost their ramp lurk. What's the next play? That works out. Luke did eventually come back for the repeak, so patience was rewarded, but we're getting into a situation again where Triumph does not have infinite clock to play with, and they're continuing to lose bodies. 50 seconds, they're in towards lower. There's an adjustment coming from ramp, though. Does Team 1 get here in time? Mob certainly will. He doesn't really have the health for this fight. He's the only player here. Woke up to get the bomb plant. Mobs came into the rat hole to commit to this. They're going to get this plant at the very least. They're going to get that capital. His next shot could be deadly, and indeed it is. Twice is fortunate to get one before Mobs lurked around on him. Going to B-Wheels. B-Wheels not in a fantastic position to defend this. What a chance at least. The door comes open, and bullets find his face. Great round for Mobs.
Absolutely. He's up to 19 now, taking that frag lead away from XNS, but it's what you expect from Mobs, who was tied for number 11 in frags per round in the Premier regular season with .815. So he's a critical factor in that round for Team 1, as Triumph, despite the fact that they have the rifles coming into it, have to settle for only a bomb plant once more. Can't get that round victory, and Team 1 have quickly re-extended their lead to 5 rounds against Triumph. 4 AKs and a MAC-10 brought in by the Triumph squad into this round, so they still have enough with that loss bonus, the full loss bonus coming through. Let's go for a quick hit. I don't like this.
Arzu just sprinting through the Molotov straight to his demise. Tried to go for a fast catch off play. One thing he caught off was his life. That didn't make any sense at all. Mobs looking for another shutdown round here from the ramp. Instead, he himself will be taken into the afterlife. Still, this is looking dire. 2v4. Their position's known as well. At least one of those players was definitely spotted. Not sure if the second was, but with control from PRT pushed through the squeaky door, they've got so much information here. They gotta know they're bunched up. You got a player in control room as well, so Payson knows they haven't gone down just yet. There's a player holding in squeaky. There's a player in hut. This is great positioning. They can't get in towards hell even because Maluk is locking it down. This should be perfect. Great kill. The trade is flying as far as Team 1's concerned. They still have so much information and so much control. Twice. He's a solo unit. The one thing that works out for them is that in controlling this much of the map, Team 1 have had to isolate their players. XNS, crouched in by the second vent, is having a heck of a game. 3K in this round. And he's looking for one more to add to that lofty total. He just missed it. There's the clear. There's the check. There's a shot. A snappy one at that from Mr. Tyler Weiss. This bomb now down, and a chance at a massive clutch. He's going to be able to slip back away in towards hut. Oh, this is huge. Player coming up the vent. Player coming out of heaven. From high and from low. The low player's gotten high, and he's been laid low. All onto Maluk now in this game of seesaw, and twice plays the crack between the towers. A beautiful round for Mr. Tyler Weiss. A 1v3 pulled out of his hat, and a fighting chance for triumph.
That is impressive for Twice. I mean, Team 1, as you mentioned, they had their players isolated across the map, so they weren't in position for those trades, and Twice abused it. Some very nifty work with that AK. And headshots coming through as he jumps up to 19 frags and leads his squad. And almost a server here, only Mobs ahead of him with one more frag at 20. We'll see if Team 1 can respond after that one, or if Triumph's going to gain a little bit more momentum once more. PRT is going to immediately spot out Cynic towards the outer yard.
Oh, they've overlooked Pesa. Mobs gets a kill here. Pesa's been chilling here the whole time. There's a player above. Did he spot the barrel? He didn't spot the barrel, but he does get that kill and the second as well. Pesa maximizing the spot, maximizing the position, and Team 1, even when they're down to the 5-7s, they're going to be able to pull off a round. That's heartbreak for Triumph here. That is cardiac arrest, to be quite frank, because they finally had a chance to get into the second half, and Team 1 just snatched it away.
Yeah, you got to hard clear that red box, and Pesa with the 5-7. And credit to him, he just hightailed it over there towards the box, get in position, and then the patience, making sure he hits both of his shots and going for the correct target each time. All right, well, Team 1 answered my question if they were going to be able to respond to that twice clutch. Immediately they do. They're up 13-8. B Wills, Twice, and Cooper all getting spammed down through that smoke. They're not able to do much of anything, except Pesa does go down after getting only one frag. Despite that, look at the HP, Mike.
It's pretty dire. The MP9's going to have a chance to feast here. Mobs is so good with this SMG. It's barely a limitation for him, and he's going to get 2. That's money made as well. And the bomb dropped. Big props. Even eating that nade just doesn't matter, but that's a little worse. PRT getting peeked into. Huge clear from Cooper, and Cooper was giving them the old 1-2. The old 1-2. Maluk tries to chase him out, but that sets him up for B-Wills, and suddenly what was looking like a prime situation for Team 1 has become anything but that. It's fallen apart. It's come apart at the seams. It's all onto XNS here in the clutch. He's going to take the first, though, and this bomb is still not planted. Finally, that's going to change. But XNS knows exactly where they are, and B-Wills can't get away. He was just holding for this. Had to get the headshot, though. The health, he'll try and escape, but XNS will eventually be able to zero that in. We'll even get the AWP to bring into the next round, presumably. There we go. And we'll put Team 1 onto 14.
I mean, look, we've casted quite a bit of Team 1 throughout this season, and this is prime XNS that we're seeing right now.
Yes.
Getting that 1v2, Mike, and giving Team 1 a 14th. Really nicely done. But, 2 rounds away from taking this map, our Team 1 Triumph. They do have another buy-up coming through here. But only 1 round on the board in this second half after winning 5 in a row to finish off the first half. Team 1, 3 M4s, the AWP, and the MP9 to try and get a 15th. Get on map point. Just going to spin him into trophy. A couple of AK rounds coming through from Triumph, but so far, both teams taking their times. No one getting over aggressive on Team 1, and Triumph want to pace this well.
Ace is playing from the big garage. Yeah, kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a lurk outside. Arzu looks like he wants to come this way. A second player comes onto the silo, so this is going to be an outside play. Oh, they see him. They see his elbow. Molly's go in, dedicated to his position to clear out Pesa. That has to have been a spot. Hard to tell from the range that we were at, but it did look like it just spotted the bow. Wanted to force him out for the kill. Nicely done.
I mean, committing 2 mollies there, you have to imagine they saw him.
Yeah, it's either that or it's such a hard read on the way he likes to play that.
Yeah.
Good flashbang to get them past the offing potentially, but they stall out. They stall out, and that's a big problem now. They've been picked apart. They've still got a player outside as well. What is this peak going to be for B-Wills? Not successful is what it's going to be. Cynic in a 1v4. Can he replicate Twice his success in this angle? There's no one in here. There's no one in lower. Just made a noise. There's the window break. Once you've jumped, you might as well go for the window break, right? We'll be able to plant the bomb. This retake will be swift. 3 by the ramp side. Spot on the first, and, well, kind of caught out in no man's land as the flashes come through and the murder is quick.
I mean, Team 1 seemed to be... sorry, Mike, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say it's map point. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I mean, Team 1 seemed to be happy to give the bomb plant to Triumph. They're like, okay, plant the bomb. We'll go and retake it. No problem. And every single time, you know, they're right there with the answer.
I mean, at this point in the procedure, right, you got to imagine that that's fine. Now, the interesting thing is going to be next map. Next map's Dust 2. Next map is Dust 2. A map that is historically pretty good for Team 1. Less good of late. And
Yes.
Triumph just pulled a nice upset on it last night as well, dealing with the Party Astronauts. So this one could be interesting.
I think so. And even more interesting for Team One, I think that they're a solid Dust team. They just haven't had the best of luck on the map as of late. And you look at their match against Pain at the beginning of the season, they went to double overtime and lost 20 to 22. So,
Mm.
I mean, and it was a crazy match. Malbs is a player that can really shine on Dust too. So we'll see if Triumph can answer the call. I mean, this one's not over yet. Triumph could still get 7 in a row, tie it up, go to overtime, and take the map. But the way it's trending, I feel like Team One feel like the better prepared team for Nuke.
Play a boost
As
up onto the red box. Faces again in his little spot, his little hidey hole. This time he's more tucked. He's like, all right, if a Maldi comes in, I'll swing. He's going to get a kill this time. That's what he was trying to do last round, and actually pairs up a second as well. Cooper will try and battle back in, but this is a desperate situation. He's alone outside. His closest teammate's tucked in towards Squeaky, and that's his only teammate. Mr. Tyler Weiss needs to pull off a huge clutch again here to try and keep them in the game, and he won't even get started. That is Team One to cruise through their initial map pick to make it 16 rounds and move up 1-0 in the series as they look to continue on here in the upper bracket. We're going to take a quick break, folks. When we come back, map number 2.